going to be cutting her hair first. I'm going to be dry cutting her hair with the feather razor, which is one of my favorite ways to cut the hair before I start getting into the highlights, because it takes out a lot of bulk and creates the shape, so I know where to put all the highlights. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel, and I hope you enjoy this video.
So this is my model, Krista. As you can see, she has really dark hair, and the last time I cut her hair was about 1.5 years ago, and it was like a pixie almost. It was so short, so I'm just amazed how long her hair has gotten. She's just one of those people with like really crazy long hair and super thick, super dark. So I'm going into the haircut and I'm dry cutting it before I put in the highlights. I'm using the feather razor just to clean up her ends a bit. I like using this more than scissors just because it's really fast, and it also leaves really nice soft edges in the hair, and it's not so blunt. And now I'm going in and doing weight removal. So what I like to do is start at the nape, and sometimes I do the length and weight removal at the same time. It just depends on how I feel. Sometimes I'm like, no, I'm just gonna clean up the length and then go in and do the weight removal, which is what I'm doing now. So basically I'm taking the feather razor and I'm making sure the razor is completely up and down. You don't want to have any twists or turns with the razor, or else you'll like take a huge chunk of hair out. So I'm just very lightly going through, and I've sped it up a little bit so because it can get kind of repetitive. But I'm just going through 1 inch, 2 inch sections of hair, taking weight out. She has a lot of hair, so I'm not afraid to get in there. It's going to be so much better for her, especially styling it and drying it. And it's just going to feel so much lighter for her. So getting all the weight out, and now I'm up to the bangs. So I'm starting in the middle and kind of softening that front line there. And then I'm just taking little triangle sections and bringing it to the opposite side, or was it over directing? And I just keep over directing and then taking weight out the same way I did with the hair, just straight up and down, just easy strokes. And then I'm also taking sections and I'm, what's it called? I'm taking a section, I'm cutting it, and then I'm going the opposite way and kind of almost making a point by going the opposite way, if you caught that. I do that with layers too. So yeah, I did it just now. Pulling the hair forward and yeah, cutting underneath like that. It makes those really nice little ends kind of curve more. That's why I like doing it. It doesn't look so solid. It just like makes the little bits a little more pointy and a little more just curvy and shapely. So for shags, I love to bring the hair forward and just bring it all to the same length. I pretty much just bring it to the bangs. Unless they want like a not so layered look, then I bring the hair lower as I'm pulling forward. And I'm kind of doing the same thing. I'm just kind of razoring through those sections. But yeah, bringing it through, and then I'm going through, she has so much hair in the crown of her head. So I'm taking sections and taking weight out like I did with the other parts of her head. And yeah, just kind of going through it until I reach the back of her head. And yeah, she has so much hair that I wasn't scared to like get in there, because it's like she just has one of those heads that's pretty forgiving. And her hair just started to feel so much lighter, so much better, so much more shape. And I did the same on the opposite side. But here's the haircut final result. And that's just dry cutting. I haven't even like really styled it yet, but so cute. So now I'm going to get into the highlights. I'm using Bottle Blonde from Evo, which I like to use on darker hair. I feel like it's a little bit stronger than the ammonia-free one I normally use. And I'm starting with 25 volume, so half 20, half 30. And just mixing that up. And I'm using this little Echo Tools, I call him my robot assistant. I don't know if you guys have ever used a color mixer, but they're awesome. I call it him. I got him about a year ago, and I love the consistency of the color and bleach when I use it. So now I'm getting into the highlights, and Krista has, you know, pretty dark hair. I know I've said that before. So my thoughts for the highlights are, I'm not going to go too heavy. I kind of just want her to have some dimension inside, but I know her hair, I mean, it'll probably lift to yellow. So I'm guessing like an orangey yellow. But I'm kind of just thinking ahead and working with what she naturally is and thinking like, I don't want her to be too blonde. So I think I want to go, it's fall season. So I'm thinking I want to do kind of like a pumpkin spice, like autumny kind of color, because that works with her tone. So I don't want to lift her to blonde necessarily, but like almost there. So that way when I put a color over it, you'll see later on, instead of like toning it to like a blonde, I'm actually putting like a copper, a cinnamony copper over it, and it'll really show up the lighter it is. So I'm taking diagonal sections, and I'm actually like, is this considered bricklaying? So I'm taking diagonal sections on each side and then doing a little the little triangle in the middle, and I'm going to do that all the way up to the top of her head. And I kind of just like evaluate the hair and just think about, you know, what I want it to look like. And so what I decided to do was and I don't normally do this, but I decided to take slices, tease the slice, then weave it. I don't know why I decided to do that. I just thought, oh, that might look cool. Honestly, I was just kind of like playing with her hair and was like, oh, that would look cool, because it'll show up, but it won't look too strong, you know? So I like this method. I do this with tip outs too. I'll like take a section, tease it, and then weave it, and that's how I do my tip outs. But yeah, so I'm kind of just taking diagonal sections, slicing, teasing, weaving, and just all the way up the back of her head. So this went pretty fast. Like I said, I'm not trying to get her super blonde. I just want to get some accents of highlights in there. So once I get to the top of the head, I did do a weave and tease that, then put lightener on that. So to the front, you know, bangs are really tricky to highlight because you either want the highlights incorporated into the bangs or you don't, or maybe just a little bit, because it can be pretty intense if you don't put any highlights. Like you just have this, especially with how dark her hair is, you just have this like block of bang and then it's all highlighted around it, which some people like. They don't want like highlights on their bangs, but I'm doing highlights on her bangs. I'm just doing a few baby lights up to the root and kind of feathering it in. And you also have to think about the sides of the head, because with really layered haircuts, you get like these kind of like dark spots between the bangs and the side of the side pieces. So you have to think about like how you want to incorporate that. So I decided to just start with a halo around her head and do the bangs first, and then I'm going to do each side, and then I'm going to go in and do the interior. So I think I put about 3 foils, maybe 4. She has like so much hair that I was like, okay, maybe I'll do 4. I always, one of the worries with doing highlights on really dark hair is like, it's either too much or it doesn't show up at all. And finding the right thing, it can be tricky. Not gonna lie. So it is tricky to think about, but I'm just kind of going with my gut and thinking, okay, I'm just gonna highlight the bangs, because I do want brightness in the front. I don't want it to look like some black hole on the top of her head. And you could even like tease these sections too. Like you could take like 2 or 3 sections of the bangs and weave and tease that, or do a slice and weave and tease that. That'll give like a softer effect to the bangs. But with highlighting shags, it's a little tricky. You've got all those layers to think about and like where they're gonna hit. You just have to really look at the haircut and see where everything lives and then base it on that. So going through the sides, and I'm just doing some baby lights around her face to kind of brighten up those bits. I think the first one I just baby lighted, and this one I'm slicing and teasing. So I'm doing the same on the opposite side. Baby light around the face. And then I'm assuming the next section will be a slice and a tease. There's any little bits that you want to highlight that you see are just kind of close to the face, and I always think, man, this is like gonna just look like a black hole if I don't put highlights there. So any little pieces, like even if it's just a little bit, really makes a difference. So now I'm going up to the interior and doing the same thing, taking slices, teasing, and then weaving all the way up to the top of the head. And then when there's that little triangle at the top of the head, you'll see it soon in the video, but when I get to the top, I do like a little mohawk sectioning with that triangle at the top. It'll make sense when you see it. I'm sorry if I'm not explaining it right. It's interesting to explain all the things you're doing when it's just always in my head. It's always like, I just do it. It's so automatic for me doing highlights that I never really think about the verbiage of it. I just do it. So actually verbalizing it and saying it out loud is very interesting. Section that I'm gonna do on this side, and then do the same on the opposite side. Yeah, so I did the same on the opposite side, and now I'm at the very top of the head. And I'm doing the same thing. I'm just taking a section, a slice, teasing it, and then weaving it. And I think I just do 2 here. Doing this part because when the hair spills over onto the top of the head, it has this nice variance. And I used to not do this, and you would see, like, I guess it just depends on the client. But Krista was open to whatever. She didn't really care. She's just like, just give me highlights and you do what you need to do. And I was just feeling like, yeah, her hair's so dark that I need to do something up here. But you can see her hair was processing for a while, and it lifted to kind of like a yellow, you know, not quite orange, but a little bit. But that's just how her hair is. That's just how dark hair is. And this is all virgin hair too, thankfully. So pulling out all of her foils, and then I'm going to rinse it all. What I like to do with really teased out highlights to get all the color out, or I'm sorry, get all the tease out, is I'll rinse it really well with water, and then I'll use something like New Wash or Hair Glow from Afterworld Organics and massage the hair with that. And then I'll take a comb or a brush, usually a wet brush, and then just brush it out with the New Wash in the hair. And that stuff really, really helps loosen up all the tease, especially with people who have very fine hair and it gets really tangly. So I love loading up on the New Wash after I do highlights like this. And it just really helps get all that tease out. So not only does New Wash cleanse the hair and helps me untangle all the tease, but it also acts as like a porosity filler. So when you put the color over it, it deposits really evenly. So this is the color that I used for her. I used half 9.5, yeah, so I'm just, and half 8.34 from O&M, the 3.5 volume activator, and a little bit of Core Restore. I love Core Restore in my toners. I don't use it with the core liquids, but I use it with the, if I ever use the cream as a toner. It just helps, you know, it's like their version of Olaplex. It just adds, it's a bonder. So it kind of, while the hair is toning or I'm depositing color, it also like helps strengthen the hair. So putting it all over, I'm not really, I want it all to be one color. So I'm not doing any variation or anything like that, or root smudging or anything. So I'm just pouring it all in and massaging it into her hair really well. And then I left it in for about 20 minutes, and now I am rinsing it all out. And I use New Wash again after processing to get all the color out. There we go with the New Wash. One trick that I learned with New Wash, because I know a lot of people don't like it, but I've learned a few tricks from it, from Hair Story. One little trick is to take your New Wash, and that's the cream that's in your hand, and add some water to it and make it really milky texture, and then massage it into the hair. I really like that technique, or hack or whatever. So now her hair is all done. I love, love, love cutting the hair before the highlights, just because it's like we can just get right to the styling and seeing how it came out. So yeah, I can already see a lot of variation in her hair. It's so cute. I love the like autumn feels of it. So I basically just diffused her hair and then went over it with a curling iron, and here's the final result. A lovely autumny, coppery balayage on a shag haircut. So, so cute. I love Krista. She's so cute and always game for something fun.
I hope you enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to like this video and also subscribe to my channel. It's a great way to support me and continue with more clean beauty education. And I hope to see you next time. Bye.